أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والحمد لله رب العالمين. وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. اللهم وفقنا وسائر المشتغلين للعلم والعمل الصالح بحق محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعجل فرجهم والعن عدوهم. It is narrated that Abi Abdullah ibn al-Mughira about Ishaq, from Ishaq transferred from bin Ammar, transferred from Abi Basir, transferred, and Abi Abdullah alayhi salam said that the women seen the yellowish blood before menstruation with 1 day or 2 days. Is it from menstruation or not? Or sometimes it comes after menstruation within 1 day or 2 days. Is it from menstruation or not? So he asked that the woman, she sees yellowish, maybe before the menstruation, within 2 days. He said it is from menstruation. It is from menstruation. And if it was after the menstruation's days, it is not from menstruation. قال عبد الله بن المغيرة عن إسحاق بن عمار عن أبي بصير عن أبي عبد الله عليه السلام في المرأة ترى الصفرة فقال إن كان، هذه الصفرة اسم كان الصفرة، إن كان قبل الحيض بيومين فهو من الحيض. كان قبل الحيض بيومين فهو من الحيض. وإن كان بعد الحيض، this is yellowish، إن كان بعد الحيض بيومين فهو ليس من الحيض. فهو ليس من الحيض. All right. With Islamic laws, we reach to issue number 449. It is not necessary that a woman should have bleeding on the first and the fourth night. If you remember, we mentioned that in order to consider this bleeding as menstruation, as haid, it should be continued for how many? For 3 days. 3 days. What does it mean, 3 days? Days, it means, yes, Zaman?
This bleed should be continuous.
Have the mic, please. Yes.
That means this bleeding should be continuous.
Yes.
For 3 days.
Okay. For 3 days. My question about the days. The days. From where shall I calculate the days? Which hours?
From the first day to the third day.
So, the days, when we mention the day, if she sees the blood at night, we're not going to consider it as a day. The date will be a day, the next day. The next day, nahar. The next day. Okay? And the second, this is the first one, and the second day will be the second, and the third. Look, the first day, the second day, the third day. And in between them, the first night and the second night. Look, the first night, the second, yes, the first night and second night. So these are 2 nights included in the 3 days. These 2 nights are included in these 3 days. How about the night before the first day and the night after the third day? It is not included. It is not included. So if she doesn't see the blood in the first night before the first day, or the blood stops after the third night, after the third day, it is not important. What is important is these 2 nights. These 2 nights in between the first day and the third day. These which are included as what? As 3 days. Is this understood? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. It is not necessary that a woman should have a bleeding on the first and the fourth night. But it is essential that the bleeding should not discontinue. Look, but it is essential that the bleeding should not discontinue. Should not discontinue. You know what's the meaning of should not discontinue? It should be continue. It should be continue. Yes. On the second and the third night. On the second and the third night. The second and the third. Because here the first night, this is the second night, this is the third night, this is the fourth night. This is the first day, second day, third day. Okay? I'm talking about the nights. The first night and the fourth night are not included. The second night and the third night should be included. The bleeding should be continuing. Should be continuing. For example, if bleeding started on the morning of the first day and continues till sunset on the third day, till the sunset of the third day, and stops. And stops. In the fourth night, it stopped. It would be considered as hayd. It would be considered as hayd. Similarly, if a blood is seen from the middle of the first day, from the middle of the first day, we are going to talk about تلفيقي. تفتو. شو راح نحسب تلفيقي. In the middle, for example, at 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock at noon, she sees the blood. And this blood continue from 12 o'clock till from the middle of the first day and stops at the same time, it means 12 o'clock, on the fourth day. On the fourth day, the same will apply. The same will apply. What does that mean? This is hayd. This is hayd. You understand what is it? Shall I explain it in Arabic? Okay, in Arabic. هذه رأت الدم يا بالساعة ب 12 الظهر. الصبح ما عدها ب 12 الظهر. عندي شوفوا هاي 4 أيام. ب 12 الظهر هذا اليوم الأول. الصبح ما شايفه ب 12 الظهر. من 12 الظهر إلى 12 الظهر اليوم الأول يعتبر. من 12 الظهر إلى 12 الظهر اليوم الأول. من 12 الظهر إلى 12 الظهر هذا اليوم الثالث يعتبر يا يوم ثاني. يعتبر يا يوم الثاني لأن دلفق تكسير يوم الثاني. من 12 الظهر هذا اليوم الثالث إلى دحسب أيام وأحسب الحيض مالتها. واضح؟ هذا يوم أول ثاني ثالث رابع. وبالنسبة للحيض هذا اليوم الأول من كملت من 12 ل 12. من 12 ل 12 اليوم الثاني واليوم الرابع اجاها وين؟ الساعة 12 الظهر. ورا 12 الظهر انقطع. انقطع. شنو حسبه؟ menstruation. حيض. حيض. Why? Because it continued for 3 days. 3 days. Is this understood? Good. Any question? Issue number 450. If a woman sees the blood continuously for 3 days, she sees the blood continuously for 3 days. And then it stops for a brief period before it's seen again. For a while it stops. Brief يعني شنو؟ فد وقت قليل. Short time. Hours, not a day. And if the total number of days in which blood was seen and in which it stopped does not exceed 10. Now we're talking about the days. Since he explained as for not exceeding 10 days, we're talking about maybe it stops for a day. Maybe she has menstruation for 9 days, for 10 days, 7 days. The blood continue for 3 days, then stops for 2 days, then it continue for another day, 2 days. What we call these days? All of them, what? Menstruation. How about these 2 days? How about this tahur? In between these days, it is also hayd. But in these 2 days, she can what? She can do her prayers. She can do her prayers. But it is what? It is hayd. It will be continued what? As hayd. In these 2 days, she is tahir, yes, she can fast. Huh?
What's if the blood isn't continuous? Stops, like for example, she.
You have the mic. You have the mic, please.
What if the woman has the blood for 3 days?
Okay.
And then
Stops
it stops for 2 days,
2 days.
and then
She sees the blood
yes,
for how many?
then she sees the blood, but not continuously.
Okay.
Is
For
it
how many?
not continuously? Just like a little.
For how many? Tell me. I need how many days she sees second blood? The second discharge for how many days?
It's not continuously, just for a
1
while.
days, 2 days, 3 days,
Hours.
4 days?
Let's say for hours, for example.
Hours.
Yes.
Still hayd. Since it is not exceeding the 10 days, still hayd.
Even if it's not continuous, like it's not continuous for 3 days.
Here there is a detail. There is a detail. We ask her, how many is your period? How many days? You used to see blood. Sometimes one of the girls, she said, I see the blood each month for 8 days. So she has a break for 2 days, okay? And she sees the blood for example, for 3 hours. This is included in hayd. Why? Because it is inside the 8 days. Inside of her days.
So even if it's not continuous,
even لا زالت هي بأيام. لا زالت بأيام.
so this is not the same that definition we talked about later.
Why?
Before.
Why?
We said we consider it as menstruation if it's continuous for 3 days.
My daughter, this is from the beginning. In order to mention this is a menstruation, one of the reason that the blood should be continuous for 3 days. This is the period. And you said she sees the blood for 3 days, then it stops for 2 days, then she sees the blood for 1 day or 1 hour. And she used to take the blood each month for 8 days. So this is within her days or not?
Yes. What if her period for 4 days, only 4 days, and after that she sees the blood for an hour, let's say.
She's still in the 10th. She's not exceeding the 10th.
So it's considered as the
Yes.
menstruation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, you have to inquire about it. It's very important. All right. So, and if the total number of days in which blood was seen and in which it stopped does not exceed 10, since it does not exceed the 10, it is still inside the 10, still inside the 10, not exceeding the 10 for 12, 11, 12, and so on. Then the days in which blood flowed will be counted as of hayd. This is the answer of your question. Fatima, this is the answer of your question. Look, then the days in which blood flowed will be counted as hayd. Since it is what? Since it is inside the 10 days. It does not exceed the 10 days. And the in-between period of respite will be of obligatory precaution. The 2 days, the break of 2 days, the not discharge of 2 days will be what? Will be of obligatory precaution, during which she will do all that she should do when she is tahir. What does that mean? She has to pray, she has to fast, and not touch the script of the Holy Quran, and also refrain means to stop from all these acts which are forbidden to the haid. Is this understood? Pay attention to me. For example, this lady, her period of 8 days each month, she has a fixed habit of number and date. راح يجينا هو. It will come to us. There are different of haid. She sees the blood each month, 8 days. This month, she sees the blood for 5 days, and blood stops for 2 days, and then she sees the blood at the 8 days, day number 8, the 8th day. So all of it is what? All of it is menstruation, haid. Okay, now what she will do in these 2 days? What she will do in these 2 days? She has to act as what? As obligatory precaution. She has to pray, she has to fast, and she has to refrain from all the acts of what? Of the haid should do. Like what? Not touching the script of the Holy Quran, not touch the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to halt in a mosque or in the holy shrine of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, and so on, of the immaculate imams, and so on. Is this understood? Okay. How about if these days of blood continues or exceeds the 10 days? Inshallah, we'll talk about it. Issue number 451. If blood is seen for more than 3 days, why he insists for more than 3 days? Yes, Zaman. Please. Mike.
Because one of conditions of the menstruation is the bleeding continues for 3 days.
Great. So, and for more than 3 days and less than 10 days, and she does not know whether the blood is of a sore. She doesn't know that this blood, it is a sore blood, or a wound blood, or of haid blood. She should not treat it as haid. She should not treat it as haid. She is doubting whether this blood is blood of sore, a blood of wound, or maybe it is a blood of haid. She cannot treat it as a blood of haid. If you ask, so what she will do? She couldn't treat it as a blood of haid. There are signs for a blood of haid. One of the signs, the time, her period. The other sign is the color of the blood, if it goes out with irritation, and so on. But if she doesn't know, none of these signs exist, and she is doubting of that, can she treat it as haid? No, she cannot. Issue number 452. If a woman sees blood about which she is unable to discern, to distinguish which kind, she does not know which kind of blood is. She is unable to discern as to whether it is the blood of wound or of haid. In the foregoing issue, it was between sore, wound, or haid. Now it is only between blood of sore or what? Wound, sorry. Blood of wound or of haid. She should continue to perform her acts of worship. That means she is not going to deal with it as a blood of haid, except when her preceding condition was that of haid. In this issue, this lady, she sees the blood, but she cannot distinguish this blood, she cannot discern this blood, whether this blood is a blood of haid or blood of wound. She doesn't know. She doesn't know. Okay, now what is the solution? What is the solution? We will ask her, what was your status before? You were menstruated or not? You were haid or not? If she said, yes, I was haid, now we say this blood is a blood of haid. If she said, no, I wasn't haid, we will say, no, this is not blood of haid. This is not a blood of haid. No, look, we didn't mention with it 10 days. We just see the blood, and this blood continued for 3 days or more. We didn't mention the 10 or not, before or after. We didn't mention that. We mentioned 3 days or more continuously. For 3, why she doubts? Why she doubts? Because this blood is continuing for 3 days or more, and one of the major attributes of blood of menstruation is that is discharging for how many? For 3 continuing days. But she doesn't know whether this is blood of haid or whether it is a blood of wound. We will deal with this blood, not a blood of haid, unless her status before it was haid. Issue number 453. If a woman doubts whether the blood she has seen is of haid or istihada. Now, she is doubting between blood of haid and blood of istihada. She should treat it to be haid if it bears the properties of haid. Now, she sees the blood, but she doubts about this blood. Maybe it is a blood of haid or istihada. No sore, no wound. With sore and wound, we discuss it in the 2 foregoing issues. Now, she sees the blood, and this blood, she is doubting whether this blood is a blood of haid or blood of istihada. Now, we ask her, do you see the attributes of haid blood? If she says yes, this blood is a blood having the attributes of haid blood. So you deal with it with what? With haid. As haid. You have to deal with it as haid. So you are a haid woman. You are a menstruated woman. But if it does not have the attributes of haid, and it has the attributes of istihada, it will be what? Blood of istihada. Yes, you have the mic, please.
How can the woman doubts between haid and istihada, since if it continues for 3 days, it's already considered as haid?
My daughter, we explain there are sometimes discharging of blood which continues more than 3 days. And in this case, maybe it is hayd, maybe it is istihada. And some of the old women, they know that maybe bleeding continuing for a month, maybe 20 days, maybe 15 days.
What is that?
So she has to check out whether this is the hayd blood or istihada. She has to check she has to know from where? From the attributes of the blood. She has to know. It is very important. Yes.
What if she has a doubt? She's not sure whether
it is a hayd or istihada, she has to go to what? To the attributes of the blood itself. So the 3 days, it is not the main sign. Put it in your mind. The 3 days, it is not only the main sign.
So what is the
maybe she was, listen to me. Maybe she was haid and her period is finished, okay? For 7 days, let's say, 7 days. And she is tahir for 5 days. There is no blood for 5 days after the 7 days. And she sees another discharge of blood for 5 days. And it has the same attributes of hayd. It is hayd. No, it is istihada.
Because 5 days, not 10 days.
Yes, because I explained from the first lecture, sometimes that should be between each 2 period, it should be what? It should be at least 10 days طهر. 10 days طهر. If it is 9 days and half, the second blood is not hayd. It is istihada.
so it should be a gap for 10 days, right?
10 days طهر.
And after 10 days, it's considered a hayd, right?
After the 10 days, we will see. If it has the same attributes, it is the nature of the lady herself that she sees the blood after each 10 days or not. We have to check out. Huh? If the attributes, you mean, if the attributes of the blood are the same, no, I will check the first one. If it was administrated status, okay, now I came to the second blood. It comes after 10 days, okay, it comes after 10 days, طهر. Now, it continues for 3 days, yes, it continues for 3 days. It has the same attributes, Now I ask the lady herself, my daughter, how is your period? When it comes to you? If she says, yes, my nature that in each month I see 2 periods. I said, this is the period, this is hayd. If she said, no, each month that I see blood once, I said, this is what? This is istihada. Is this understood, inshallah? Yes. Issue number 453. If a woman doubts whether the blood she has seen is of hayd or istihada, she should treat it to be hayd or hayd if it bears the properties of hayd. What are the properties of hayd? That it is red or black, it gushes out with irritation, okay? This will be hayd. If it is not, it will be istihada. Issue number 454. If a woman is unable to decide whether the blood she has seen is of hayd or virginity. Now, we have the doubt of blood of hayd or blood of sore or wound. We have the doubt, we discuss it, the blood of hayd, we doubt whether it is the blood of hayd or the blood of what? Of istihada. Now we have the doubt between the blood of hayd and the blood of virginity. Inshallah, there is a hadith for Imam Sadiq. It is very important to know it. It is very important to know it. Even there is a good description for Imam Sadiq. So, one of the ladies, she came to Imam Sadiq to ask him about the blood. And when Imam Sadiq answered her in details, when she went out of the room, one of the servants of Imam Sadiq, he heard her, she said, if I don't know him that he is a man, I will say he is a woman. لو ما كنت أعرف إنه إمام رجال لكانت عليه مرة تأتيه العادة يعني كان أعطاها بالتفصيل عالم ساينتست يعني مو بيده أنت تقولين هيك ولا ما هو شغله هذا علم شغله. So now this lady is doubting this blood she is discharging, is it a blood of hayd or blood of virginity? She should examine herself. What she has to do. If you remember the exam, that she has to put some cotton, insert some cotton in her private part. If this, after a while, she has to take this cotton slowly, not so fast. She has to take out this cotton slowly. If the blood is not soaked the cotton, it is what? It is the blood of virginity. It is just to stain the cotton. But if the blood is soaked the cotton, so this is the blood of hayd. Let's see. She should examine herself, like to say, she should insert cotton in herself and wait for some time. If she finds, look, when she gets out the cotton slowly, I will tell you about the hadith. If she finds that only its sides have been stained, ملطخة, with blood, then it is a virginal blood. And if the blood has soaked the entire piece of cotton, then it is what? It is hayd. Is this understood? Yes. Issue number 455. If blood is seen for less than 3 days, not 3 days, and then stops and starts again for 3 days. Look, the first discharge is 2 days and a half. 2 days and a half, not 3 days. Then it stops, then she sees the blood for another 3 days. Then, and starts again for 3 days. The second blood will be hayd. Why? Because it is continued for 3 days. How about the first discharge? Not hayd. Why? Because it is not for 3 days. Will be hayd, but the first blood will not be considered as hayd, even if it was seen during the days of habit. Even if it was the first 3 discharged, the first less than 3 discharged, even if they are in her period days. But because it is not continued for 3 days, we consider it what? Not hayd. We consider it as what? As istihada. Rules for the haid, menstruated women, will come next lecture. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammadin wa alihi tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.